Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Justice Talk, where it's just us talking.
Welcome to Justice Talk, where it's just us talking. I'm Deputy Brian McKnight with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, here with the Sheriff.
Hi, Tony Spurlock here, and I have the honor of being the state chair for Law Enforcement Torch Run.
My name is Jan Gordon. I'm with Special Olympics Colorado, and I'm the vice president for the Law Enforcement Torch Run, and I work directly with Sheriff Spurlock on making all things happen law enforcement and Special Olympics.
So today we get a chance to do something really cool, talk about one of the things that law enforcement is involved with, and Douglas County Sheriff's Office is very strongly involved with the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. When we look at law enforcement and the concept of community policing and working with groups in our community and partnershiping and solving problems, when we look at Law Enforcement Torch Run, this is a huge piece of our community policing and working with people within our community, and we got a great involvement with Law Enforcement Torch Run and Special Olympics. And Sheriff, you're actually the director.
Yeah, so I like it to the fact of think about this when you say law enforcement torture, and you say, oh, I know what that is about. Cops get together and they run a mile or 2 miles and they raise money and it goes to Special Olympics, and that's a great thing. And that's where it stops. A lot of people don't understand what really happens beyond that, and there's so much more that happens beyond that. Let's take in consideration, and I thank everyone who has ever done this, and I hope that you do it if you see it. So we do the Tip-A-Cop programs where we're in restaurants with Special Olympic athletes assisting us in serving food and talking to the patrons of any particular restaurant, and that there is, again, it drives, again, what we've always talked about is unifying our community to having folks that have developmental disabilities being in our community, unseemingly being noticed by anything else. They're just functioning like the rest of the world does. And that's really what our ultimate goal is to have no barriers whatsoever. Everyone sees everyone. Oh, okay, how do we help you? What can we do together? A lot of other things law enforcement does as well is we do the plane pull. My favorite is the polar plunge. I think we'll do some stuff when time comes again when it's freezing cold. Hopefully we have video available for that. And all of those things are law enforcement officers and members of law enforcement agencies volunteering their time to raise money to provide it to Colorado Special Olympics, Law Enforcement Torch Run for education programs, and I'm sure Jan will go into some other things that we do, medical services, just so many things that law enforcement does. And here's where this is the thing that makes it so awesome, is that law enforcement has the opportunity to engage in a part of our community who, in some senses, in some cases, are vulnerable. And we have an opportunity to embrace, and when we do that, and you have the opportunity to do it, and you see the look on their face and the feeling that you get from them on a variety of different things that we do, makes it worth 10 times more than what we're actually raising money for. So it is really neat, and it's an awesome opportunity to be involved in the Law Enforcement Torch Run, Colorado Special Olympics. I think we're going to touch base just briefly on the international conference that's going on here in about 15 days here in Colorado, which brings people from all over the world to celebrate and to unify and come together under one message. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I'm really excited to be a part of this. I know that the men and women of the Douglas County Sheriffs are as well, and I'm going to turn it over to Jan a little bit to have her talk a little bit about Colorado Special Olympics and whatever she has on her mind.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me here today. Love being here with you all. Just want you to know that there's such a rich history with law enforcement and Special Olympics around the world. Starting back in 1981, Chief Lemunyon, a chief out of Wichita, he saw this magic between law enforcement and our Special Olympic athletes. And like you said, Sheriff Spurlock, that's because law enforcement, they're in the business of protecting and serving, and our population needs to be protected and served. And they also love law enforcement because anybody in uniform, our athletes really flock to people in uniform, it means protection and safety. And so that being said, he saw this back in 1981. He got a group of about 6 officers to run a torch down their main street. They had a summer games that year in their town, and they lit the cauldron for summer games, raised about $300, and they just saw this incredible relationship between law enforcement and our Special Olympic athletes, and thought there's something here that's going to help both sides. Both parties involved. And so since then, just to give you some idea, since 1981, it's not just a fundraiser, but it's a movement. Last year, around the world, $58 million was raised for Special Olympics programs worldwide by law enforcement.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, without law enforcement, we would not do nearly the things that we do here in Colorado. We have over 100 events a year and 6 state events, and without our law enforcement here, we wouldn't be able to put those on financially. And so we raised $1.1 million last year here in Colorado.
Hoorah! There we go.
Hoorah!
Yes.
When I came on board, we were raising about $200,000, and we've grown and grown because we think that agencies are seeing the value of being involved with Special Olympics Colorado and the community policing piece. Also, just in blessing them during their very difficult days of their very difficult jobs, coming to something that really is also positive for them as well as being involved.
So I always throw this out. There's 2 things. One, I always throw a plug to Channel 7 News. The last couple of years they've done a telethon, and we're in this tight little room, and we're on the phone, and we're making phone calls. People are calling in to donate money, and sitting right next to us is a Special Olympian. Now, that portion of it is all the little tykes, the little kids, the youngsters. And if you do this and you go out of that room without a renewed spirit of life and wonderment and awe, something's wrong with you.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it is a blast, and they get on the phone and they're talking to someone who wants to donate money, and they high five you, and they you work with them, and they write down the numbers of what what they just got donated, and it's spectacular. So I that is fun. We've only done it a couple times. I hope we get to continue to do it. But the other part for me is, and when you talk about law enforcement and difficult times in their lives and difficult jobs that law enforcement does, when you are a law enforcement officer and you're at a Special Olympic event, and you are there, and what I like is the polar plunge, where all these people come together and they dress up in all these crazy outfits, and we jump into freezing cold water and then come out, and it's always freezing cold outside. What is so awesome there is there's usually a Special Olympian somewhere around the stage handing you a towel, okay? Wanting you to get warm, going to help you get dried off. And the look on their face, like, I am helping this policeman.
Yes.
And we look at it and say, wait, we're supposed to be helping you, like we help all citizens, but here we're helping, and in many cases, they're at the polar plunge, it's adults that are there with some developmental disability, and they're reaching out to help us.
Yes.
It is so awesome, and I have yet to talk to a cop that ever went to one of those events that didn't come away with this renewed feeling about their job and their society, and how do I get involved further. So, and that's kind of where you're at, all the work you do.
You know, it's that someone asked me a long time ago. I've been able to do law enforcement torch runs since 1996, and people ask, why do you do this? What is this about? And, you know, when I first got in, it was, hey, we need to do this torch run. I knew nothing about it. I started getting involved, and in law enforcement, we know our job can be pretty negative sometimes. And there are things you need to reach out in life to be a positive. And through all these years, someone said, well, why are you still doing it? And I said, because it's that one positive that's been around for me, where I got friends everywhere. And they're Special Olympic athletes. Mm-hmm. We may not see each other for a year, but we see each other at summer games or the playing pool. Man, it's just a thing that gets your heart, and it's that positive in law enforcement that we need sometimes when we're dealing with the chaos, that we get a chance to work with these athletes and see something positive. They're always telling us thanks for what we're doing and the fundraising. And I'm always telling them, thank you. Thank you for this partnership and our friendships and the things that they do for us, because they do kind of open our eyes and kind of pump that heart back up and say, yeah, there is good stuff out there and we're part of it.
Right, and there's so many neat events. I was really touched this last year at Summer Games when we got to meet all of the athletes from all these different teams that were coming there, and got to be a part of watching either a swim relay and watching the determination on their faces that they are competing. They are confident in what they're doing, and they're looking at the other end, because at the other end there's a cop there or a family member, usually a cop and a family member or another person, a loved one that they know, at the other end cheering them on, waiting for them to get through this obstacle. That and I'm going to tell you, I saw the heavy weightlifting. I can't do that.
Yeah, it was amazing.
There's no way I couldn't lift that. And to watch them and talk to them, and it's like, I can lift that much. That's what they're saying to me, and I'm like going, I can't roll that much.
Right.
And so to be a part of that is incredible, and it's so neat. And I encourage, obviously, anyone that is listening that is in law enforcement, get involved in your agency, get involved in law enforcement torch run. Talk to your bosses, be a part of it. And then those who are not, there are so many ways to get involved, either at the school to enhance unified sports in the schools, or just any number of events. And I think I'll pass it over to Jan and have Jan tell us a little bit about what the coolest, exciting thing. I know you can't wait for some vacation time to come, of putting together for the very first time in the state of Colorado, the International Special Olympics Conference here in Aurora, Colorado, in like 17, 16 days.
It's coming up. Yeah. Before I talk, I want to just mention that we have over 25,000 athletes here in Colorado. I don't think a lot of people know that. So some people ask, why are you raising $1.1 million? What is that for? And it's because we have a big contingent of athletes, and it's growing. We also are in over 375 schools with our unified sports. We have a young athletes program with 4,000 young athletes that are ages 2 to 7, and they're typically developing or they have an intellectual disability, but we're putting them together at a really young age so that by the time they get to middle school, you really don't know a difference between people that are typically developing and people with an intellectual disability. So I think that's another reason why law enforcement loves it. It's helping with the bullying. We're trying to cut back on some of that. We also, our young athletes program. We also have a healthy athletes program that you mentioned, Sheriff, where we're really helping our athletes to get checkups on their eyes and their ears and their teeth and their feet. And then we're moving them on to a doctor afterwards to make sure they're getting the care they need. So it's much more than just sport, although sport is our platform, and it's a great platform to have. We really are helping our Special Olympic athletes to be out there, get jobs. If you have a job, you have to show up on time and be accountable to your boss. And so sports, it's like that. You have to show up to your competition, and you have to be accountable to your teammates and your coach. And so we're really trying hard to do much more than just sport. We're trying
great life lesson.
Yeah, life lesson stuff. So I just want to point that out here in Colorado, because a lot of people don't know that. Also, they think Special Olympics is such a strong brand that certainly we have money coming in from somewhere, and we don't. We're really individual donor, corporate donors, and law enforcement is really our number one. We have about a $5 million budget, and so it's huge. So I just want to make sure I point that out. The conference coming up, we're very excited. It comes once a year. It's been out of the country before because we are worldwide with law enforcement and Special Olympics, and it's been within the United States. And I've been to 8 of them so far because I've been with Special Olympics for 8 years now. But it's coming to Colorado. We've got 1,200 law enforcement officers, Special Olympics staff, and athletes coming here to the Gaylord, Rockies Resort, out by the airport. And I would say about 900 of those attendees are law enforcement from everywhere, from Japan and Africa and New Zealand and within the United States. I mean, it's really a neat conglomeration of law enforcement doing just what you do, but in their countries and in their states. And so it's the first time we've ever done it. It's a huge undertaking. It's a 3-day event. We have concurrent sessions on Thursday, Friday. It's September 19th to 21st is when it's happening. And they'll all come in and they take classes so they can learn more about being involved with law enforcement torch run. We also have some law enforcement classes helping with de-escalation and working with our athletes, and maybe working with somebody with autism and what that looks like. So we try to do some of those things that help our athlete population and help officers, and also do classes on polar plunge and tip-a-cop, so that people that are coming in and maybe new to the movement will learn how to do some of those things and go back to their specific countries or states and be able to go ahead and do it and put it into action there. So it's coming. We have a host night. Should I talk a little bit about what we're doing?
Sure.
With that? We've got a host night on Thursday night down at Elitch Gardens. They're hosting us. We've got all 1,200. We're moving them down from the Gaylord Rockies Resort on coaches down to the host night. We've got a great band and food and fun. We're trying to get them down to Denver because they're kind of far away being out the Gaylord. So we want people that are coming from far away to and close here in the United States to be able to see Denver. So that's Thursday night. And then Friday night, we're doing something called a donut derby. And we're doing that because we need to raise $100,000 to help put this conference on. And we don't want to pull it from our own funds for our programs here. So we are trying very hard to sell 10,000 donuts. And just to clarify, if you've heard of a ducky derby, where you use rubber duckies that go into the water, we are doing a rubber donut derby because we're doing law enforcement. It's a great little play on our
And they
law
look
enforcement.
exactly like donuts.
And they're
Donuts, that's right.
And they almost smell like donuts. It's very strange, but they are rubber. And we are going to throw those into the lazy river. And first prize is $5,000, the first donut to cross the finish line. Second is $2,500, and third is $1,000. So it's really good prize money for a $10 donut. How we break it down is it's $10 for one donut, $50 for a half dozen, and $100 for a baker's dozen, which is 13 donuts. You get 3 free. And we have sold, I think, about 500 donuts. So we are trying to sell 10,000. The odds right now are amazing to win the $5,000. I would say sign up now. And you can go to SpecialOlympicsCO.org, SpecialOlympicsCO.org, and the Donut Derby is a banner right at the top there. And you can click on that and buy your donut online. I would highly suggest you do that. You do not have to be present to win, but it's out at the Gaylord Rockies Resort from 7 to 9. We're going to have some appetizer and drink specials if you want to come out and be a part of it, or you don't have to be present to win. So we'll call you if you won one of the first, second, or third prizes, and it's going to be a great time. So,
Right, so anybody in the community could get online to Special Olympics, sign up on the Donut Derby, and win $5,000,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I've got my mom and my sister who live in San Diego are signed up and ready to go. If you don't have to be present to win, they want a shot at that $5,000. So,
And this is one way when people say, how can I help? This is one way you can jump in, possibly win a prize, and help law enforcement torch run, which really supports our Colorado Special Olympics.
yeah, 100% of the funds that we raise are going to Special Olympics. We typically can't say that because we have expenses, but we've got sponsors, great sponsors. Armor's a sponsor. SafeLight is a sponsor of this donut derby, and they've covered the cost of the donuts. They've covered the cost of the prize money. So every penny that we raise is going straight to Special Olympics, which is a neat thing to be able to say.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event and raise a lot of money. Well, we're going to take a quick break and get into our next Dirty 30.
Welcome to today's Dirty 30, where we take 30 seconds to teach you how to protect yourself from those dirty criminals. Bullying is a heartbreaking problem. It is defined as aggressive behavior that is persistent, intentional, and involves an imbalance of power or strength. Bullying includes everything from being threatened or physically assaulted to being called derogatory names or being ostracized, either online or in person. If you're being bullied or know somebody being bullied, contact a responsible adult, talk to an SRO, or use text-to-tip to take appropriate action in making it stop. Let's make it very clear, bullying is never okay.
All right, we're giving a call to Jeff. He's one of our athletes in Colorado Special Olympics to get an idea what the athletes in Colorado Special Olympics think about law enforcement torch run and Special Olympics. So we're getting hold of Jeff right now, making the call.
This is Jeff Starren. He's a Special Olympic athlete here in Colorado, a great golfer.
Hello?
Hello, Jeff, is that you?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Justice Talk. We're doing a little talk here today. It's me and Jan Gordon. We're here talking about Colorado Special Olympics and the law enforcement torch run. And then we're going to get in a little bit about talking about this big conference coming up that you've been sitting in meetings with and helping us out. And we really wanted to talk to you and get started about Special Olympics in general and what that means to you and what Special Olympics has done for you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Special Olympics has helped me to make friends and to have a job and to have more activities in my life. I get to go to. I've met a lot of new athletes, and I've gotten to go to a lot of events.
Yep. Hey, Jeff, this is Jan. Tell them about what you do for Special Olympics and your job there.
Okay, I'm the development assistant, and I make calls. I make calls to donors. I participate in our athlete leadership program, and I go out and I speak to businesses to help promote and get them involved in Special Olympics and educate them more about people who have intellectual disabilities.
And you're a great ambassador for that, and you do a great job everywhere you go. And it's great to have you as part of Special Olympics and the Law Enforcement Torch Run. Law Enforcement Torch Run is a part of Special Olympics, but you help us on the board. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with Law Enforcement Torch Run and what you think about all the officers that you get to work with.
Well, I think they're all really great. I think that they're very fun to work with, and I enjoy attending all the events that I've attended, like Tip of Cops. I know you and I, Brian, have just recently attended a Chick-fil-A fundraiser where we worked together and had a lot of fun and helped to raise a lot of money for Special Olympics Colorado.
And we enjoy those, don't we? We get a good time talking to each other and all the people in the community that support us.
Yeah, we really do. We really have a good time, and I enjoy all the time that I work with all the officers, and I also am on the committee and attend all the Law Enforcement Torch Run meetings, which I've been attending a lot lately for our upcoming Law Enforcement Torch Run that'll be held here in Colorado in 2 weeks.
That's right. We got the big conference coming up. We got officers from all over the world coming, and you've been a huge part of that planning committee for the last 2 years in making this happen. And the cool part is we get to kind of showcase Colorado, our athletes, and our law enforcement officers. And we talk about the athlete part of it. Let's tell the listeners about what you participate in and in the sports end of this.
Okay. Well, I participate in golf and bowling. I play golf left-handed with one hand, and I can hit the ball 150 yards on my drive, sometimes a little more. And I recently just won second place, a silver medal, in our state summer competition.
And Jeff, that's incredible. I try to play golf, and they say those who can't golf fish, and that's why I fish. But I would love to go out one day and golf with you so you can show me that drive, because I just cannot make that happen.
And tell them a little bit about your bowling too, Jeff.
Yeah, and I've competed in a unified bowling, and I've been involved with bowling in Colorado for the past 3 years, and I've worked on I'm still working on getting a gold medal in bowling.
Well,
so I hope to do that this year.
All right. That's awesome, man. You're going to get there. I know it. You work hard and make those things happen. Well, Jeff, is there anything else you would like to share with us about all the things we talked about, torch run, Special Olympics, your experience with the officers? Anything you'd like to say before we go?
That I'm looking forward to. I've been involved with the torch run the last 2 years, and I've ran with the torch with the officers, and I've attended our Capitol Day with all the officers, and it's really a very moving event.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I really look forward to coming to this conference in a couple of weeks and having you there to help. And we appreciate the chance to call in and talk to you. I know you got other things going on, so we're going to sign off with you. Thank you for your time, and you have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, thank you. It's great working with all of you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we're back and from the Dirty 30 and just about done here. We had a great talk with Jeff on the phone. So we're going to try to wrap things up here, and it really comes down to law enforcement torch run is something Douglas County Sheriff's Office is really involved with. We love the involvement with the athletes and what it does for our officers. The fundraising is just a part of it. Getting out there, as the sheriff mentioned, having it hit your heart and meet these athletes. And every time you see them now, you get that hug. You get that smile when they see you. And we talk about our lives and what an incredible piece of life that law enforcement gets to be involved with. And that's what we do here at Law Enforcement Torch Run. And we just wanted to share that with our community.
Yeah, and I would say to all executive officers that are in law enforcement, when someone comes to you and asks, hey, can we get involved with this? Just remember what you're doing is you're advancing not only the relationship that your community has with you, but there's this global messaging that you're a part of something that's huge, and it doesn't take a lot. There's a lot of volunteer time, and so I really encourage every law enforcement agency. I encourage all the sheriffs, all 62 sheriffs in the state of Colorado, and the other 2 sheriffs that are home rules. Please get involved, be a part of this, because what your agency will receive in love and hugs and just this feel of being part of something that's so much greater than ourselves is there for our taking. All we have to do is take that step. So I'm thankful. Thank you guys for doing this show, and Jan for everything that Colorado Special Olympics does. I know you guys work incredibly hard, and so I thank you for allowing me to be a part of LETR and all the things you do.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Sheriff Spurlock and Deputy McKnight, for all that you do, because without you, we wouldn't be able to do it. And listen, I want to say, too, if it's fundraising is not your thing, we also, at every one of our competitions around the state, we have 100 a year. We have officers come out and present medals to our athletes. So not only is fundraising a huge part of it, and we couldn't do it without you, there's no way we could have the program we have. Coming out and presenting medals is also the awareness piece is just as important as the fundraising piece. So come out and be a part of it with us. If fundraising is not your thing, come out and present medals to our athletes during the competitions. That's a total joy in itself, and we need officers to do that all the time, every weekend, during the week. We're always busy, so we would love that. If you go to specialolympicsco.org and you look under staff, my name is Jan Gordon. Please find me, call me, email me. If you want to get involved, I'm happy to plug you in and get you involved. So we're super excited about the conference coming. Thanks so much for having us online to do that.
And if our community still wants to help out and get involved, they can buy a donut.
Absolutely.
Be part of the Donut Derby. Support Law Enforcement Torch Run, Colorado Special Olympics, and maybe even win some money.
Yeah. I mean, the money is great.
Yeah.
SpecialOlympicsco.org. Click on the Donut Derby. It says raffle that you're buying, but just kind of click through. You'll see the amount you can buy. Just buy a donut. Come on and buy one donut if you want, and hopefully I'll be calling you with that winning prize.
That's right.
$5,000.
That's one way our community can help us out and be part of the Law Enforcement Torch Run. And remember, we don't call them donuts anymore. They're high-energy crime-fighting biscuits.
Very good. I'll take a dozen.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have
Thanks
a
for
great
having
day
me.
and see you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.